Hello, how are you guys? I wanted to talk about a few things that we didn't get a chance to talk about that I definitely want you to have in your tool belt. And also, thank you guys for joining me. We are here because we want to, of course, um, go over some of the best practices related to using Twitter for professional use in advance of our tweet chat on Thursday. However, there's an entirely different, separate skill set when it comes to using social media professionally. Um, that we don't have time to get into it. And as I mentioned, Twitter, social media, it's like the phone. Are you using a phone to call your grandmom? That's one use case. You can use your phone to talk with someone who might hire you to, interview with someone. That's a different, conversation style and use case. One can use the phone for faxes, right? That's an entirely different use case. When talking about using the phone, in this case, social media, the specific use case I'm narrowing that conversation to is tweet chats. And I'm actually going narrower. It's a tweet chat around a specific topic. There's other things that, that are out there that one should know about. Um, Somebody had mentioned, how to reply to negative comments. There is a Medscape looks like they have a little bit of a course here about protecting your reputation on social media. I'll give you a link to that. And yeah, I'll give you a link to that because I actually address like comments, like unwanted comments, what to do, ignore it, or, that's what I say most times, just ignore it. Or if they question you, like, hey, you know, I'm just trying to imagine an occasion where someone would join in a tweet chat and start ranting. It's just hard for me to imagine that case. I've never seen it. So I'm not making stuff up on the fly very well. But in any case, they have information about replying to negative reviews, and the principles could be useful for your information. So I will have a link to that as well. But in any case, I wanted to show you a tweet chat um, over here. So we learned a skill yesterday about how to find um, find information. Upper right hand side is a search bar. A very brilliant question was asked, but what if I have a mobile device? I don't really use Twitter on my mobile device, so it was hard for me to even think of what that looks like until it was asked. So thank you, Dr. Friedman, for asking. So at the bottom, that's where that's found on if you're on your mobile device, you search. So we're going to search for a tweet chat that is no longer in existence. Um, but the beautiful thing is that the content, the information that was shared during that time is still available. So I'm going to look for the Curio chat. That was the name of the Curio chat. And I'm just kind of curious about what's being said. It looks like it was active in 2018. Because this is a top post. And let's see what the latest thing on the Curio chat is. So it looks like that's not really relevant. People might still use that hashtag because they know that it attracts people who are interested in healthcare, so they might use it. Um, John Lynn, he's a well-known person in the healthcare IT, healthcare social media community. He talks about the Curio chat was a lot of fun, past tense. So it looks like it's not happening anymore. So it looks like HITSM is an active chat. Let me just read his reply. The answer has changed over the years. I don't see what he replied to. It looked like he made his own tweet instead of replying to a tweet, and that's okay. The world didn't explode. But he made his own tweet instead of replying. So I don't know the context. But in any case, he says the answer has changed over the years. Hashtag HITSM has been a constant, but I remember Curio being a first chat I did a lot and got to connect with many people. And then John replied to that. That's right. The Curio chat was a lot of fun. And he tagged somebody. Maybe she was part of that. I don't know. And then that hashtag of this chat just to thread the conversation together, to keep the conversation together. So, a couple things to note here. He's replying using a tool that can help with keeping the conversation together, because in large chats, this is just a tool that can be helpful and useful. Please don't look into Hootsuite. For the context that we're doing, that's not necessary. So let me actually pause this. Hey, all right. So remember, so during our time yesterday, we were going to open Twitter accounts and we were going to practice replying and whatnot. And we did those skill sets, right? We practiced replying. And long story short, I wanted to show you, and I mentioned how when I first opened my Twitter account, I didn't use my name because I didn't feel comfortable. Um, but so I searched CurioChat and my old handle just to see what would come up. And it looks like in 2016, I shared, they had a post around, let's go to that. They had someone hosting the conversation. The topic was, is traditional independent practice model sustainable? Is a traditional independent practice model sustainable? That was the question, or the topic that they're going to address. And this was the time, and this is who was going to host it. And I've also hosted Tweetchats with that company as well. So I shared that, interested in big data. I use some hashtags in that. But in any case, someone said, thanks for the promo. We appreciate it. A few people like that. And so this is a Twitter chat. This is a question Q1. That's the framework that I've known to use. That's what I've been taught. That's what I've been raised to use. But there's other styles out there. But in any case, they use Q1. They didn't use a graphic at this point. They don't do their tweet chats anymore, but they have graphics now that one could use if you want, but you don't have to. But in any case, Q1, tell us about a patient-centered healthcare experience that did not involve IT. What made it patient-centered? And their hashtag to use. I replied A1 and the hashtag. So let's look at what I actually said. So I said, I recounted an experience where a med change resulted in one huge pill. I actually helped advocate for this family and reached out to the doctor to see if we could have smaller pills. There's no need for all of that here. And back then in 2016, this is like 5 years ago. Can't believe it. The Twitter count was 140 characters. Now it's 240. So you really couldn't say too much. But in any case, I replied A1, a med change resulted in one huge pill. The patient complained. The result was several smaller pills, same dosage. And so a few things here. So sharing patient information online, you can't do that. We all know that. But with social media, I decided to actually read HIPAA law just to be sure I didn't do something that was wrong unknowingly. And before you start sharing patient stories and patient experiences and telling, I do invite you to read HIPAA law. It's an easy read. And there's also a podcast now that I didn't have back then called Help Me with HIPAA. It's actually a very hilarious and funny podcast all about HIPAA law. So in short, what I shared a story, a patient story. There was no gender mentioned. There was no age mentioned. There was no diagnosis mentioned. And this was all purposeful. So that there's like zero likelihood that someone can ever trace this back to the human because I didn't share. Beyond that, there's no patient identifiable information anyway, or identifiable information. But again, I'm teaching you how to use social media to take part of a tweet chat around a particular topic during research week. Again, the skill set for HIPAA for healthcare professionals, that's a completely different skill set that I'm not educating you on right now. But I just wanted to share some context related to sharing patient stories, that this wasn't willy-nilly. So that's that. Let me go back actually. And let me pause that just to show you a different example. So no, that's it. So long story short, a Q1, tell us about blah, blah, blah. A few people shared this to their community. A1 is my response. Curio chat is a tag. And that's it. And that's that. So if you have any questions, let me know. Take care.